Hello world! In this tutorial I want to show you 5 basic techniques for negotiating rough and uneven surfaces. They will be the normal scissor, the toe lift, the weight transfer, the small jump and the push through. Before I get started though, please note that I'm not a qualified skate instructor. I'm just a regular guy who loves skating. These are just my own thoughts and ideas that I hope can help you out. The techniques all involve your feet being in the scissor position on approach. The scissor is 1 foot in front of the other, giving a wider base and better stability as you pass over an uneven surface. If you're just starting out, I'd recommend choosing something like a manhole cover to practice on. That way you will have a smooth surface all around it, and they are generally not too big or bumpy to negotiate. The normal scissor, as mentioned earlier, is just keeping 1 foot in front of the other. Combine this with some decent speed and you will find this is enough to roll straight through most uneven surfaces. A good amount of speed is important. If you go too slow, there is definitely a chance your wheels will catch and cause you to trip. If you're not confident rolling both feet through, then just go with 1 foot to start with, until you get the hang of it. The toe lift is simply lifting your toes off your forward foot, but ensuring your heel still makes contact with the ground. So front wheel's in the air, back wheel touching the ground. You will need to position more weight on your back foot to enable you to lift the wheel of your front foot. Having your wheel lifted lessens the chance of it catching on something like a stone. This technique is particularly good if you're rolling through loose material. The weight shift involves transferring your weight out of your feet as you roll over an uneven surface. It's a bit like a jump without your feet actually coming off the ground. As you approach, bend your knees slightly, then spring upwards, not enough to do a full jump, but just enough to move the weight out of your feet. Without your full body weight on your feet, theoretically you will just roll over the rough surface with ease. This technique involves a certain amount of feel, and the best way to describe it is a jump without jumping. The jump is as it sounds. You're just jumping over the area of rough terrain. As you approach, bend your knees, then spring upwards, ensuring your feet leave the ground. As you land, bend your knees to absorb the impact. So bend, jump, land. The push through is forcibly pushing your feet through the rough surface. You generally would do this because you did not carry enough speed with the normal scissor. So approach at a slow speed, bend your knees slightly, then push your feet forward of your body. By pushing your feet through, you are generating extra momentum which will hopefully stop your feet from catching. Be careful not to push your feet too far forward though, as this can cause you to lose your balance. Now I've run through the 5 techniques, let's see some examples in practical use. Stones are something you will encounter wherever you skate. For me, the best technique to use is the normal scissor and combine it with the toe lift for extra security. For small patches of broken surface, some decent speed and the scissor will probably be enough. However, all techniques can be used. The safest technique for clearing potholes is probably the jump. Secondly, I would use the weight shift. You can use other techniques, but there is more risk of you catching your foot, so be careful. Adequate speed in a normal scissor is a good way to roll cobbles. Too slow and you might trip. the weight transfer is also a good technique. If the cobbled area is small enough, you could also just jump them. When the tactile paving is these small bumps all in a row, you can normally just do the scissor straight through them. If you are lucky, you will just pass between the gaps. The easiest technique here on this stretch of compacted gravel will be the normal scissor and good momentum, plus maybe a toe lift. Here we have a manhole cover, some speed strips, followed by bobbled tactile paving. All techniques will be possible depending on your speed and preference. Here we have some broken ground, potholes and puddles. A mixture of all techniques will be useful. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please hit the like button. Leave me any questions and comments you have, and I'll do my best to answer them as always. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, as it makes a huge difference. Take care and skate safe.